Hi, everybody. I wanted to do this special for the more than 100 million people in the United States and the over 1 billion people around the world who are living with obesity. Maybe that's you, or maybe it's somebody you love. And I do thank you all for joining us here.
Oprah Winfrey is trying to kill the stigma surrounded by weight loss drugs. This 70-year-old media mogul's an Oprah special, Shame, Blame, and the Weight Loss Revolution, aired March 18th on ABC. And she opened up the conversation by sharing some heartbreaking headlines about her weight that she read for 25 years.
In my lifetime, I never dreamed that we would be talking about medicines that are providing hope for people like me who have struggled for years with being overweight or with obesity. So I come to this conversation in the hope that we can start releasing the stigma and the shame and the judgment to stop shaming other people for being overweight.
Is that body positivity right
That's
there?
body positivity right there. That's body positivity right there, front and center.
Listen, shame is a really sucky emotion. I don't think it is very productive necessarily. I know you would disagree with me, and it's real. When I'm overweight, I shame myself.
And she's like, oh, we should break that stigma to have shame. Why? Shame is something that everyone has, and enough of it can help you move to the right place. So
only if the shame transfers into courage. If you dwell in the shame, that's when you get stuck in bed and you get depressed and you get hopeless.
Sometimes, or you just use the shame to build you up to decide to move and do something about your weight.
I mean, that's one place to come from, but I don't think you can avoid the shame. And here's the deal. I believe that it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility. If you're overweight, it's not your fault because you weren't taught how to live a healthy lifestyle, but it is 100% your responsibility to fix it.
Or how they choose to lose or not lose weight. And more importantly, to stop shaming ourselves. I have to say that I took on the shame that the world gave to me. For 25 years, making fun of my weight was national sport. And I'll never forget a day in 1990. I saw myself on the cover of TV Guide's best and worst dressed list. And I remember thinking at first, oh, look, there I am on the cover. And then I read the headline that Mr. Blackwell, the tastemaker of the time, called me bumpy, lumpy, and downright dumpy. I was ridiculed on every late night talk show for 25 years, and tabloid covers for 25 years. Here are just a few of the thousands of headlines written about me. Oprah, fatter than ever. Oprah hits 246 pounds. Final showdown with Stedman sends her into feeding frenzy. Oprah warned, diet or die.
She made a weight loss company and then proceeds to go on like 20 years later or something, maybe more than that, saying you should take a drug for weight loss and that she literally is sorry that she ever made a weight loss program for anyone. This is like it was coming to her. Like it was coming to her. She had it coming for her.
I have to say that every day in my household at 4 p.m., Oprah Winfrey was on. She was the original talk show host from my generation. And I witnessed her with that huge weight loss. She inspired my mom. She inspired millions of women to lose weight. And she is an icon and a true inspiration. And she revealed in the show that when she pulled out her 50 pounds of fat on that little wheelbarrow, she said she'd starved herself for 5 months to do that. And that really does harm your metabolism. And yo-yo dieting really harms your metabolism. She's been struggling with this, and it's real.
She's been struggling with it, and she's been lying to the world and giving them this weight loss program that doesn't actually work for weight loss, that gave her a lot of money, and the food industry, she was in bed with a lot of money. And as someone who used to be 320 pounds and has tried Weight Watchers and tried her advice, and then to see her not fit, not like super skinny when she had made this program for people to lose weight, it feels like an oxymoron because she, lost weight, but she was still relatively overweight, I would say, selling this program. And I was like believing a lie. And now I feel like I was really believing a lie because the whole time she said her program doesn't work and that the weight loss drugs do.
Wow.
And so for me, as someone who took the program, failed it, was 320 pounds, lost it naturally, of course I'm irked by this.
So in an effort to combat all the shame, I starved myself for nearly 5 months and then wheeled out that wagon of fat that the internet will never let me forget. And after losing 67 pounds on a liquid diet, the next day, y'all, the very next day, I started to gain it back.
And that's what happens when you go on a liquid diet, period. I have done it myself, and it's just what happens. So that's part of the yo-yo dieting metabolic syndrome that occurs when you extreme diet, whether you're binging or purging.
Have you released the shame for yourself completely?
Yes, there are so many people like me that if you had told me when I was a little girl that I would be sitting here talking about those noises in my head, I would have told you were crazy. I'm not going to talk to anyone about that. And there's this whole world of us that get it, so that helps me reduce the shame.
You know what I get? This is what I got for the first time after I, took the medication. All these years, I thought all of the people who never had to diet were just using their willpower, and they were, for some reason, stronger than me.
I just assumed they were genetically superior. And I have like a secret envy for people who can eat a ton of food and not put a pound on. But come to find out, it's because of their gut microbiome. Who knew? I figured that one out very late in life.
And now I realize y'all wasn't even thinking about the food. It's not that you had the willpower, you weren't thinking about, you weren't obsessing about it. That is the big thing I learned.
Medical experts also gave their professional opinions when it comes to
Medical professionals also gave their opinions about weight loss drugs. That was really interesting. From the Cleveland Clinic, from Cedars-Sinai, really, really top-rated doctors.
W. Scott Bush, the director of obesity medicine in the Bariatric and Metabolic Institute at the Cleveland Clinic, and Dr. Amanda Velasquez, an obesity expert at Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles, were among Oprah's special guests. And Dr. Bush explained how being obese is a, quote, complex disease.
Many people have the disease of obesity.
Obesity is not a disease. Like, what are you actually talking about? No one is born fat. That's literally not possible. And to lose weight is not impossible. Me and Mom talk about this all the time. It's not impossible to lose weight. It is not impossible to lose weight.
You just might have to swallow a more difficult pill.
Exactly.
I mean, you're lazy if you are obese. It just means maybe you don't have the right information that works for you.
But we have to be honest too, like there is a point of laziness that you have to be at when you are really overweight.
If it's a disease, folks, then why isn't it a disease in other places in the world? You know, Penelope was born in Switzerland. I lived there for 10 years. You don't see the same type of obesity over there. How come it's not a disease over there? And how come over there it's not as common to find genetically modified foods or animal products that are pumped full of hormones, or the amount of processed food consumption like we have in the United States? Like, why aren't we thinking about that? And why, if it's a disease, is it just in the last 20 years? How come it wasn't that way when my dad was a kid or my mom was a kid? I don't understand this obesity as a disease that you just need a pill for. It's not your fault. You know what? It's not your fault because you weren't taught how to live a healthy life, but it is your responsibility.
And I disagree with Mom. It is your fault and it is your responsibility. And you have control of what you put in your mouth and your body, and you control what kind of content you consume and who you're getting educated by. And it's your job to do the research to make sure you're learning from the right people.
Affording this pill and putting an injection in your body that may compromise your thyroid, your pancreas, your liver, your stomach, your large intestine, and your brain.
Not to mention the main one they're selling, Ozempic, is actually for people who have diabetes. It's not meant for weight loss.
Agreed, but in this episode, they're definitely not focusing on it because it's not proven safe or effective yet.
Yeah, and neither is Wegovy, though. There are side effects and risks to all these.
I did learn from those doctors that these drugs have been used for 20 years, which was new information.
But it was not advertised until recently. Why is that? Yeah. Oprah didn't know about it. Oprah knows everything about weight loss. Why didn't she know about it for 20 years? She actually admits it in this episode. She says, I didn't know about these drugs. Interesting, right? How she just randomly knew about it all of a sudden. I think there's something up with that.
Everybody who is overweight does not have the disease of obesity. But if you have the disease of obesity, you're always going to go back to that set point.
So what I understood from that was she was saying, because if you're overweight and you have the overweight disease, then you'll always go back to being overweight if you don't take medication for it.
Well, that's proven. If you take the drug for the rest of your life, then you will have...
No, but she's saying if you don't take it, you're never going to lose the weight for good.
I disagree with that.
And I also, as someone who's lost 140 pounds, that's not true.
There's a way to heal your metabolism. There's a way to heal your cells. There's a way to heal your brain. There's a way to heal your gut. It's absolutely remarkable how the human body is designed to heal itself.
If you don't have it, then you can diet, lose weight, exercise, exercise, all of the things that we've heard over the years.
Right.
Am I on the right track here?
Absolutely.
And he validates her. I think that makes people feel more hopeless. Because what if they can't afford the drug, or they don't believe the drug, or actually it causes such severe gastrointestinal results in their body that they can't tolerate the drug? What are those people supposed to do if they're believing what this very high qualified expert doctor is endorsing?
Such a good point.
I'm here to say, folks, if that discouraged you, please hold the faith, because it's possible. Your body can redeem itself. It was designed to do so.
Are you all following this? Because if you all are tracking, it means the rest of the world will track.
But there's a spectrum of obesity as well. It's not one disease. It's many different subtypes of a disease.
So it's complex.
Quite complex.
And that's why it is so wrong to be shaming people, because you don't understand the complexity of each person's situation.
Yeah.
I love that she emphasized the complexity. Each person, that is one thing consistent in this entire episode, is that weight loss is a complex issue and its solution is not a one-size-fits-all.
No, and her saying that we shouldn't shame anyone is also, in a way, her saying we shouldn't make people feel bad about being fat, which is kind of a body positive thing, because 30 years ago, this wasn't a problem. This whole fat, like tons and tons of morbidly obese people dying yearly, the way they are now wasn't an issue back then. And so when she says this, it's like the body positive part of my brain is like, wow, like if she had told me that when I was 320 pounds, I'd be like, yeah, you're right. Like, it's okay that I'm fat. It's not my fault that I'm fat. When in every scenario, it was my fault that I was fat. And I'm glad that people were honest with me about it and told me it was my fault. Because when people told me it wasn't my fault, I believed them.
And I think, as Amy said, this is just a reflection of someone's uneducated belief that this is just a self-inflicted condition, as if people who have obesity actually want to have obesity. It's looked at, these are weaker people who have no willpower, who can't cut it.
It's not about willpower, but it is about commitment. I think willpower in and of itself is a bankrupt concept because it's relatively superficial. But if you know your commitment and you're deeply aware of your why are you doing this? For a long, healthy life, to prevent disease, to be there for your grandchildren, or whatever the reason is that is in you deeply, that is important. And that drives your actions, what you buy, what you eat, when you eat, what you do with your body, all of that. And it's not about willpower, I agree, but it's about commitment. And finding out what that is and getting resourced is key to your weight loss success.
Side effects to the weight loss drugs that are currently on the market were also explained by the professionals. And Oprah shared that for her, it is a tool that helps her manage her weight. But that's not all she does in order to work on herself.
Oh, really? You have to eat right and exercise in addition to taking the medication? Is there a theme here?
It looks like you don't even need the medication. It's just a tool for your mind that makes you think, oh, now that I'm on medication, everything else I can do easily. No, you don't need the medication at all. You can just do everything else and not take the medication, harm your body, or spend thousands of dollars a month on medication.
Now, Penelope, before you reset your taste buds and before you reset your gut microbiome, you were hungry
all
at
the
the time.
time.
And it was a really big problem for you.
But it was because I damaged my leptin receptors because I was binge eating and eating too much food and processed food that made my brain, the chemicals in the processed food made my brain think I was hungry even though I was full. Like sugar being more addictive than cocaine, and flour being extremely addictive as well.
If I had told you when you were fully addicted and you were tormented by your insatiable appetite, regardless of the quantity of food that you would eat, if I had told you in that moment, I have an injection that will solve that problem.
Yeah, of course, I'd take it 1,000%. Yeah.
Even if it caused gastrointestinal damage, brain damage, liver cancer, thyroid cancer, like you would have still taken it.
Probably.
Right? I mean, that's the level of desperation that we understand firsthand when Penelope was over 300 pounds. And she had this insatiable appetite. And that's the quote-unquote disease that they're describing here, that these medications really help for. But we're here to tell you that there is a way, and we can attest to that way, and so can our clients, that you can heal those pathways in your body so you don't have to feel like that. But it does take consistency.
True.
I felt exactly what Amy described here. I'm not constantly thinking about what the next meal is going to be. I use it as a tool. Also combined with hiking 3 to 5 miles a day or running, because I have found that in order to balance everything, so it's not just one thing, it's multiple things for me. It's also weight resistance training and all the things that go along with eating a healthy diet.
Yeah, a multi-pronged approach is the way
Yes.
it has to be. And I think a lot of times people think I can just pick up this medication, take it without any other counseling. And the key is that you're working with a healthcare team that's multidisciplinary. They're coming at it from all different angles.
Yay! That endorses our program. Because that's exactly what we do. We come at it from all the different angles, but we don't necessarily suggest that you take the weight loss medication. But we're not going to judge you if you're on the medication and you want to work with our program to get yourself off that medication because it's quite costly. You could spend just as much on getting supported holistically for lifelong tools and sustained long-term weight loss where you don't need the drug.
Team that's multidisciplinary. They're coming at it from all different angles. The same way we would treat cancer. You wouldn't just go in and grab some chemo.
And do you have to be on it for the rest of your life?
Yeah, the data would support that. I mean, we have good trials showing that when these patients stop the medication, the disease comes back.
Wait. Why? Why would you want to do something that makes the disease come back if you can't take it anymore? What if the factories that make all these drugs gets crashed into or has a catastrophic earthly thing?
I still struggle with calling it a disease. I think it's a metabolic syndrome, but I don't know that I call obesity a disease.
But why is she so confident and happy about it? Like, how much money?
She's in her career. She's at the top institute.
How much money is this lady making? I gotta know how much they paid her because she's so happy.
I don't know.
She's so happy about this fact that she's like, oh yeah, the data would support that.
She's pragmatic. She's very pragmatic, and I think that actually the way she showed up was just very authentic, actually. I think she did a great job.
Well, too authentic. I wonder how much her checks are for.
No, she's just being honest. The data would support that you need to take the drug for the rest of your life. She probably knows people don't want to hear that, but she's just stating the data.
She said it really happily, like too happily.
Well, she is on Oprah at prime time on national TV. It's a pretty big deal. All right.
Okay.
The former talk show host also got emotional with a guest in the audience about how she felt once she understood that obesity was a disease and it was all in her brain.
You tell us why that happened, that you're able to show up. I think I'm going to cry too. Now, we cannot start to cry.
What?
No,
Where's this coming from?
I think the reason that happens is because there is now a sense of hope, number one. And number two, you no longer blame yourself.
Yeah.
Because when I tell you how many times I have blamed myself, because you think I'm smart enough to figure this out, and then to hear all along it's you fighting your brain.
At the end of her
No, we do. We blame ourselves. Of course we do.
Of course we blame ourselves because
We're smart. We can figure it out, right? This is figure-outable.
Yeah. I don't need a drug to fix it.
Yeah, but Oprah had the cook. Oprah had the personal trainer. Oprah could afford all of the support, And I get it. Like, it's a struggle, and the struggle is real.
Struggle is real, but it doesn't mean to take a pill to fix it all or to take an injection.
But okay, so for example, if you're an alcoholic or you're a drug addict, you are also fighting against your brain. What we're talking about here is a obsessive compulsive disorder, and we're talking about addiction. That's what I hear in this episode.
Yeah.
Is that this is the cure for that. Very interesting.
But there's no cure for cocaine addicts and heroin addicts. They don't give them injections to make them feel better.
At the end of her inspiring special, Oprah made one final attempt to try and urge viewers to, quote, stop the shaming and blaming when it comes to obesity and weight loss.
And I hope that this has been an eye-opening conversation for everybody. I hope it has. For people who feel happy and healthy and celebrating life in a bigger body and don't want the medications, I say bless you. And for all the people who believe diet and exercise is the best and only way to lose excess weight, bless you too.
Well, we believe in diet and exercise, but we also believe in support, multi-pronged approach. We believe in innovative ways to exercise that actually move emotion, which is very innovative and edgy. And we believe in food as healing, right? So it's not just diet, restrictive dieting, fasting. No, it's about using food as medicine. It's about looking at your gut microbiome to reset your brain and those hippocampal pathways that control your leptin receptors, which is all about appetite, right? It's about restoring your liver. It's about restoring the integrity of your gallbladder. It's about restoring all the systems of your body and your life holistically. So I believe we're in that second category, for sure. And I'm concerned about the first category that she just mentioned.
too, if that works for you. And for the people who think that this could be the relief and support and freedom, as you said earlier, that you've been looking for your whole life, bless you, because there is space for all points of view.
Oprah recently ended her decade-long partnership with Weight Watchers as her special approached, revealing
Do you know like how sometimes you really want a pair of shoes and you're like, oh, if I can get those shoes, I'm gonna go to the gym because I love those shoes.
I'm not encouraging it. I'm not encouraging it.
Well, I'm just saying that I have no judgment. I am here to provide tools that will last you a lifetime. And if you're on the drug and you're like, you know, this drug doesn't feel right because something about it just doesn't feel right, we can help you. Absolutely. To make the lifestyle changes, to get the information that works, that's accurate, and to give you the support that you need in order to make the progress that you desire. To learn to live a life that you love and are inspired to live, to get you back to health, because that is the most important thing.